my baby. Ooh, 1 + 1 is 1.
And Mary already have like 50 of them.
Welcome back. This is episode 3. So today we are going to be talking about when we knew we were gonna face challenges. Dun dun dun.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
So if you are new here, we are sharing our story, and as an interracial and intercultural couple, and sometimes people ask what intercultural means. So
I don't know what it means. What
you
does
don't-
it mean?
So intercultural means that we come from 2 different cultures.
Pretty
So-
obvious.
Yeah, I mean, interracial would
It's
be
kind of
like
like me walking in some place and be like, "Hello guys, my name is Mark and I'm black." And like, duh. But anyway,
how's that the same?
it's the same because I'm like, I mean, it's obviously different culture. Like,
No, but like if you were a black American, we would be,
it would be a different culture.
well, because like racial culture, but not like not
Okay,
you
that
get what I'm
makes sense.
saying?
Yeah. Okay, that
Like,
makes sense now.
Haiti
That
and
kind of
America.
make me feel cool now. Like, man, I'm like different in color and different in culture. Well, I guess the same would be for you too. Like, ain't that special.
But I mean, I'm the
But anyway,
yeah.
how?
So
When did we knew
yeah.
we were gonna
No.
face?
When did we know? Which, by the way, Mark is like totally fine with me being like
English is horrible, so yeah.
just a little
What do you mean,
side
when
note.
did we know?
Sometimes people.
What do you mean? When did we know? Because we know in back, like it wouldn't better be past tense. Knew.
Like, when did we know, or we knew? So it would be
Okay,
like,
when did we know? Fine. Not
Yeah.
English class. When did we know? When did we know we were gonna face challenges?
yeah.
All right, you go.
Okay, so I knew that my family would disapprove of our relationship.
When?
I knew that like right away. Like when I was having feelings for you, there was some hesitation for a couple of reasons. Because we were international at the time.
Okay.
And so I was like, I don't know if that will work, because we didn't really have like there wasn't a set plan. Like, we were just kind of seeing how everything would play out. And then I knew, because of the racial difference, my family would have a hard time accepting our relationship. Like, I thought that they would have a hard time at first and then move past it eventually. And I think now, present day, we, my extended family, so like my grandparents, my aunts, my uncles, cousins, all of that are very accepting of us.
That's kind of why when I have a problem when we said family, because then I'm like, it's so unfair to everyone else. Like,
Yes.
everyone else who's been so amazing to
Yeah.
me especially. And I'm like, this is so unfair to them to keep saying family when they are part of the family also, and they've been so amazing.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it feels so unfair to them because like, they've been so amazing and loving and caring and respectful to me. And every time we said family, your family this, your family that, and I'm like, man, it's not cool to just put all of them in that same pile. But anyway.
Yeah, I agree with that. And truly for us, it is my immediate family that we still continue to struggle with, for whatever reason. And the only reason I can think still is because of his race, because they haven't taken time to even like get to know him. So when people ask, like, is your family accepting? I usually go into this explanation of, well, my immediate family, not so much, but my extended family. I mean, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. But to me, like you were saying, I mean, that is important to me because truly, like, my extended family has been amazing.
It's just
and has
that's kind of
always
why
been.
That's kind of why I've always had a hard time with it, because and it's like, but anyway, because it's like I think for me that's why it's also good. Like, I don't just take everybody and just throw them in the same pile, right? Because of things that I've experienced with your mom, with your brother, with your sister. I don't hold that against anyone else in your family. I was willing to meet everyone.
True.
And make my own judgment individually.
Yeah.
And because of that, it allows me to see, like, man, these people are amazing. And I think that for me was a eye opener, all right? But because of like certain interaction I have with your mom, your brother, and your sister, right? At times it just make me think and look at people and be like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what to believe now. Is it genuine or is it this or is it that, right? But I allow everyone individually to just give me what they give me, and I just stick with that without confusing. But anyway, you still haven't answered the question.
So, well, I mean, I guess I could say that. And I also want.
When did you know?
No. I want to give a little background too while we're talking about my family. No, on my family. So you might have just heard Mark say my mom, my brother, my sister. My dad has since, and we've been together, he's passed away, so he is part of the story, but in present day, like, where Mark is around my immediate family, it is my mom, my brother, my sister. So,
Okay. That makes sense.
Okay. Just to give clarity to that.
Yeah.
Because you might hear me reference my dad in this and then putting worlds together. So I knew, like, right away when I was having feelings for you that it was going to be a challenge. But I think the first time that it was like, whoa, was... How long have we been dating? 3 years when we were engaged?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And up until this point, my dad especially did not accept our relationship, like, at all. I went to him. I talked to him. It took me a long time. We were probably together a year.
Funny enough, every time you talk to me since we started dating, I've never even heard your dad's name. You never referenced your dad. You never mentioned your dad. I didn't even think you have a dad. I never asked, but I never thought you even have a dad until like 3 years after. 3 years later. And I was like, so how about your dad? You never talk about your dad. And I was like, what's his name? And then he says, Don. Yeah. And that was the conversation. Like, you've never mentioned anything about your dad, his name, or anything about your dad at all.
Yeah. Until
3 years later when I asked you. And I can't remember where we were when I asked. Like, you never talk about your dad. What's his name?
Yeah. And that's probably a whole nother episode.
But anyway.
But in short, like, my dad and I, we were not very close at all. We saw the world very, very differently, and I was, very grateful for what he provided for me growing up, you know, making sure that I never wanted or needed anything. But honestly, like, we were completely different people. And so I knew that, and there was a little bit of fear in me, like, when I tell my family that I'm with Mark, that I have strong feelings for Mark, like, are they going to disown me? Are they going to accept it? And truthfully, like, that fear drove me, I guess, to secrecy for a long time, especially with my dad, because he was kind of like that, the catalyst, I guess. And although, you know, he was very quiet, his voice was also very loud. And so I was just afraid to be like, not in, that I was embarrassed of Mark. And there's been a lot of, like, me having to process everything, and, like, counseling and all of the things. And if I could turn back time, I know that's, like, a famous saying, but truly, like, if I could turn back time, I'd be like, I don't care. But it was difficult, but I knew then that we were going to face challenges. So we had actually gotten engaged in July of 2016, and that following, like, February, I guess, you know, we were, like, trying to plan and put something together. My family, my parents, I mean, first of all, really couldn't afford a wedding, but also were very transparent, like, they were not going to pay for anything in our wedding. So, you know, Mark was a student, I am a teacher. So we didn't have, like, endless funds to have a wedding. So we were trying to put things together and just could never, like, figure it out. And I don't remember what sparked this conversation, but I do remember it was my mom, my dad, my grandfather, which is my dad's dad, and my grandmother, which is my mom's mom. We all came together one day, and we met at my grandmother's house. And
y'all had a meeting over us?
Yeah.
I did not know about that. You've never told me about that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
This is where this comment came from. I mean, you know what I'm about to share, but
I didn't know that.
So, yeah.
Go ahead.
So, and I think, honestly, like, I was trying to get approval, not a blessing, just approval, to know, like, will my dad even be at my wedding, or whatever, or should I expect family at my wedding, or I don't know. So we all came together, we all met, and my dad made the comment, if Mark were to ever step foot on his property, the first time he would ask him to leave, the second time he would call the cops, and the third time he would shoot him. And gosh, like, I honestly just, like, went numb, because I thought, for you to have that much hate, like, he had never spoken a word to Mark, and never did speak a word to Mark as long as he was alive.
I mean, I've never met him.
He's never met him.
I've never met him.
Never spoken a word to him. Never met the man. Nothing. And so, in that moment, I was like, I think I had been so hopeful that things will get better. They'll give Mark a chance. They'll see what a great guy Mark is. You know, all of that. And if you ask me, like, when did I know we were in, like, big trouble? That was probably the moment.
That's when you get scared.
I mean,
you were scared. That's what it was.
I was scared? I don't know if I was scared. I was scared for you. Not that I thought
For me, I'm from Haiti, man. I'm like, get out of here. But anyway.
Not that I thought, you know, my dad was not a violent person.
But heck, I could have done that at him, huh?
But I don't know, just the fact that someone even has that thought in their mind and like says it out loud, like.
So what was the response to when he said that? Like, what did your mom say?
Oh my gosh, I sat there just like, I said, Dad, like, you cannot say that. Like, that was what I said. My grandmother was like, Dawn. I mean, just like, you know. My grandfather was like, you don't mean that. You don't mean that. And just started crying. And my mom was like, Dawn, don't say that. You cannot say it. You do. And my grandfather just kept saying, you don't mean that. You can't say that. You know, all of this stuff.
I could imagine in his head, he's trying to think like, man, I raised this kid. Like, you can't say that. Like,
yeah.
Like, kind of like representing me or type stuff.
Yeah.
But that's crazy. I never, ever knew about that conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, I know what he said because you told me what he said. And I think that's what also, like, we could talk about it on a whole different episode of why did we broke off our engagement. Break off our engagement. Yeah. Somebody change English, man. I'm tired of this language. Break off our engagement. Yeah. But it's different. We can talk about that different time. But but man, I never knew.
So that was, you know, you heard Mark. That was the catalyst, honestly. That
for you
to break off our engagement.
No, yeah.
I mean, you had more than that.
Duh. Like there could be we could fill up a room, a house of why we broke up this engagement. This is just one piece. Yeah. I mean, see, this was like way later for you. Like for me.
Yeah. So we've talked about like 20 minutes about me.
When I know like this was gonna be a hard thing, is when we met your mom. I can't remember. We met your mom at Starbucks or something. And we were like, hey, come meet and stuff like that. But first of all, when I met your mom in Haiti, she was
I don't think we
on a
shared
mission
that.
trip with you. She was on the mission trip. The same time I met Mary Glenn, her mom was with her in the mission trip in Haiti.
So my mom is also a teacher. She was down there. She was actually the one, funny enough, that came to me. Probably like 6 months before we actually went, and she was like, hey, there's an opportunity with this nonprofit that I've started like volunteering with to go to Haiti, and they're going to train teachers. Would you be interested? And like, that's just kind of like was my mom and I, like, we both enjoy going on mission trips together when I was growing up, and we went to Mexico together and all of this stuff. And so I was like, yeah, let's go. Let's do it. Like, that would be so much fun. And it's in our profession, you know, whatever. And so she was with me.
She was in Haiti with you when I first met Mark. Her. So that's when I was like, when I see you, I met you and I met your mom, right? And we become friends and stuff like that. So in my head, I was like, oh yeah, she's a well-versed person. Yeah. And, you know, and probably, you know, and stuff like that. So that's why I was like, maybe this can work, right? But before that, like, no one that I've worked with anyway in mission trips or anything that I've even think about in that way of become friends with, or it's for all the people that I've met over years of working in Port-au-Prince with like nonprofit mission trips and stuff like that. I can count how many of them that I'm friends with on Facebook.
Let me guess. Let me guess.
What, like probably like
no. I would say. And he's met a lot of people.
Met a ton of people.
Way to catch yourself.
Yeah, I met a ton of people
I would say
on mission
he is
trips and stuff like that, and I'm probably friends with like
five at
of
most.
them, most. So
Yeah.
it's just like I've never connect or I've never tried to whatever. But because I met your mom and stuff like that, and I was like, oh, she cute or whatever. Yeah, we'll talk, we'll connect and stuff like that. And that's why that's why I was like, oh, your mom is in Haiti, whatever and stuff.
Yeah.
And I've talked to your mom. I've spoken to your mom that week that
Yeah.
we were down there, and she come across as a nice person and stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, then we started dating, and then I'm like, okay, and this whole situation, right, make me think. It's like now I look back and be like, how many freaking missionaries that I've met in Haiti who go and help a black country but don't give two crap about black people, like don't even like care, like don't even. It's like I would never, like your mom now that I've met, right, that I've taken time to know, that I've been to her house several times, right?
Mm-hmm.
I could have never think that she would have that level of, I don't know, I don't even want to say it, because I met her in Haiti. Disrespect, hate, unkind, like it's just like that festering, it's just horrible, like that type inside of her.
Yeah.
And I'm like, now every time, like now in my head, I'm like, how many of you freaking missionaries that I've met who don't actually give two crap, but somehow you want to be glorified at home and you want to be seen as a good person, you go to these countries and do mission trips.
Yeah.
So it bothers me several times. I mean, even in Springfield, I don't want to go to church in Springfield anymore, because it's like your mom go to Church of Christ every freaking Sunday, and I'm like, how can you be in the church? I mean, your brother, your sister, everybody's Church of Christ, and I'm like, how many people in the freaking church that I shake hand with, and I'm like, man. Anyway, that's a whole different thing. But when did we know? We can talk about this, whatever.
2 parts.
But yeah, and I mean, there's so many scenarios of like of when did
gosh,
did
yeah.
we know.
So I do.
So,
yes.
For me though, when I first knew,
and that
is
was
when we met in at the
that
Starbucks.
was 2014.
14 or 15 or something like that.
Yeah.
Like right for all the beginning, and we met, and we asked your mom to meet. And
we did. Mm-hmm. Because
we met, and
yes.
then we were talking, and then she looked at me and she said, well Mark, I this is not gonna work. This is not gonna work. I said, why is it not gonna work? It's like, she said, my family is not gonna approve of this. I said, and why? She said, well, because you're black. I said, oh, okay. And I looked at her, I said, Miss Glenda, you know what you just said is wrong to say right now, right? I said, let's just say I were to record you saying this. What do you think would happen? Mm-hmm. Let's say I were to record you telling me I can't be with your daughter because I'm black, and your family will never accept me because I'm black. What would you think would happen? Well, I was like, anyway, fine. And then she looked at me and she said, you're destroying my family. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
And I'm like, ma'am, if I am dating your daughter and I'm destroying your family was already destroyed to begin with. I have nothing to do with me. But since you want to put it on me that I'm destroying it, fine. But for me, it was then. That's one scenario. Second, when I knew we weren't going to work, is when I keep coming to visit you and you were staying with your sister and you were paying rent at your sister.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I could never come to see you there. I would always stay, every time I come down, I would always stay at hotels for the weekend, for a week or whatever. I would pay for hotels. Mm-hmm. And when you pay your sister for rent, and you have your own separate room, you have your own separate bathroom, but for some reason, I could not stay with you. And that's when like we were like, yo, you got to get your own place. Let's figure that out, whatever, blah, 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 blah.
Which is funny because they... so I did pursue buy my own condo. And I mean, I say mine, but truthfully, like you and I scraped together a down payment. I made the payments once I moved, but if it wasn't for Mark, I wouldn't have been able to. So it was just, yeah, it was.
Yeah, that was weird. I mean, that's when I told you, I was like, yo, this is not normal situation. I was like, if my brother lived in Charlotte, if I need to live with my brother, he would not take a dime from me. I mean, I was coming to see you, and I would take my brother's car. He would be calling friends for ride and stuff, and I would use his car to come to Nashville.
Yeah.
That's what family is, and that's what I was trying to get you to see for so long. And I was like, yo, something isn't right with there. And then you were like, no, and stuff like that. And I was like, yo, something is not right. Something is off.
Yes.
And
that's a whole, to me, that's another, like a different.
Yeah, a whole different scenario.
Because honestly, like if I'm living with someone, whether it's my sister or
you want to pay.
I want to pay.
But you should have had the right for me to come see you where you're
I agree
paying
with that.
to stay.
Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah,
for sure.
But so that's why I was pissed off, and I was like, "Yo, get your own place, man! Like, no, like, we're not playing this game. Get your own place." But anyway, for me, it's like several different things, man. Several different reasons why. Like, I mean, so many scenarios of like this is not gonna work, and we'll do a separate one on why we broke off in the engagement. So we'll go in depth and whatever. But yeah. This is crazy. I did not know you guys had a meeting and Mimi and Papa and them were there.
We did.
It's crazy.
Yeah, we did.
I will talk about the story also about the man. Papa's probably gonna be pissed, but he probably will never see this. But
no, he watches YouTube. He would probably be the person that will see this.
Yeah, we'll probably make a video. Papa and I, which is Mary Glenn's grandfather, which is Mary Glenn's dad's father,
yes,
are close. And for the short amount of time that I know this guy, there's something him and I shared. I mean, I've talked to Mary Glenn one experience between him and I. And it was the most shocking experience. And we sit there and we look at each other and we were laughing and we bust out crying. It was the most horrific thing between the two of us. And he looked at me and said, "Don't you ever share this with anyone." But I think it's so funny, and it'll make a lot of sense when I finally share this, and yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking about it right now, and I'm like, man, that could have been crazy. But yeah, cool. I did not know y'all had that meeting. That's funny.
Did. Well, and my grandmother and I mean, we are like super close, and she had a hard time accepting us at first, and I don't think because of Mark's race. I think she just didn't know
what to expect.
I think that, and I also think
she was scared.
She's such a tender heart that not of you though.
Yeah, but no, she know you were gonna be hurt.
And I understand. Yes, if she anticipates me, not that I can't learn and grow from hard things, but
she try to protect it before it happens.
Mm-hmm. And so with Mark, I think that she wasn't against. I think there might have been a little bit of like, this is different. Yeah. The color, I don't think she ever cared about your color.
I mean, Mimi and I are close.
I think it was more of the culture.
This is how close it is. I choose to continue staying with Mary Glenn 90% because of Mimi. 90% of the reason why we're still together is because of Mimi. Because like when I talk to her and she's always like try to reassure. I mean, she's the first person who opened her door. Like I would go to her house. When I go to Mimi's house, I can open the fridge and do whatever I want. I talk as loud as I want. I play music as loud as I want. Like I am me. Yeah. So 90% of the reason why we're still together is Mimi. The other 5%
That
is
10%.
the other. Hold on now.
Okay.
The other 5%, 10% was because of Mary Glenn. 90% was because 90% I didn't want to do it because that's why we call her for engagement. And then the 90% that switched to Mimi because I'm like, yeah, I would like to be in this woman's family. And I did it and I focused on Mimi solely. Right? And then afterwards, when I met your extended family after your dad passed away and I was invited to your extended family, then I took 5% from your 10% and gave it to the rest of your family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He, prior to my dad, so my dad passed away in 2018, very shortly after we got married. And a lot of people think, not a lot of people, my immediate family, it has been said that we got married to prove a point, but we didn't get married to prove a point. We got married because I wanted my dad to know, like, I married this person before you died. And he knew that. Like, he knew that I was getting married and we did it and whatever. But prior to him passing away, Mark was not invited to any family functions.
The only family member of yours house in person that I was close to was Mimi.
Yeah. Like, we would go visit her.
I would go to Mimi's house. She would cook for me. And we would talk. We would sit there and talk. Sometimes we would sit there and talk and she would cry. I would cry. And, my tough guy would come out and be like, nah, man, you're too sexy to be crying. Don't do that. But anyway. So, yeah. So, that's why Mimi holds a special place in my heart. And that's why I don't think people know how close I am to that lady. But, yeah.
We are.
But this is crazy.
It's
crazy. So this is helping me also, like, certain things like I didn't know, certain things Americans probably don't know. And also, like, we're finding stuff out too.
Like our own little therapy
welcome. But anyway, yeah.
I feel like we
keep coming. This is gonna be longer.
Did not even scratch.
Yeah, but there's a lot more. So we'll talk about
the surface.
There's several different stories, and then we'll try to talk about the several different stories, like instances and stuff like that.
Oh, I thought that was our kid waking up.
I thought that was Spencer. I think it was a car outside. So anyway, you could see how our heart dropped. Like, we don't want this kid to wake up. Somebody come take him. He's for free.
No. Stop saying that.
Okay, that's fine.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, we will share stories along the way.
Yeah. Get ready. I mean, it get crazy.
It's
get crazy. But
it is.
We deal with it. Here we are.
It is crazy, and it is.
Hopefully, we stay together for like 90 years, and then we're able to look at each other and be like, "Oh my God, do you remember?"
And it has, yes. So it has. It has. There have been times, I think that it has, like, going through this together, has helped our relationship.
Yeah, I think most of this, more than anything, it hurts our relationship.
Truly, like, this that we're doing right now, like sharing our story,
I think this
has brought us
together
more than anything.
Okay, for me, when I thought about doing this, it was my therapeutic session.
Oh yeah.
That's why I messaged her and be like, "Yo, we need to do this," because for me, that would work for me. That would make me feel good, because, that would make me feel good.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about a lot more stuff. A lot more stories.
Maybe we should do a part 2.
Yeah, I mean,
to this.
definitely.
Part 2 to the.
Why?
To this.
Yeah. Why? When did we?
Because I feel like.
When did we know? I get it right this time. When did we know we were going to face challenges?
Oh, you're titling?
No, I'm just saying, like, I didn't say when did we knew. I said when did we know.
Gotcha.
God, come on now.
Yeah, you're using correct English.
I'm English. Put some respect on my name.
You really like that little song.
I like when Spencer sings it too. But anyway, thank you for being here. Next time.
And like this video.
This is how the
subscribe, so you don't miss when
we
drop.
No. subscribes to this so you can
So
hear
you always
how
know
the story
when
continues.
Ooh, that's a good one. So you know how the story continues.
What can I say? If you are looking for a voiceover actor,
Oh my stars!
just give me a call. I am always ready to work and make it happen. Thank you for being here. My name is Mark Fatan. Her name is Mary Glenn Fatan. And this was Hard Truth and Hurtful Realities. Until next time, take care of each other. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Man, you should use this.